All right, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, so that's honestly what I always like, the instant gratification, man. 'Cause so I had to cut the grass when I was younger. My old man showed me how to cut the grass, and I was
Mm,
small, just honestly, I was really small, holding on to his back pockets.
mm,
And I'll always be thinking I'll be flying, and he'll be, cutting the grass.
yeah.
So that's how I kind of got started, man. And then going back to the instant gratification, once we got done, I'll ride my bike in the afternoon, or once we got done and
Mm,
run and go past our house, like, man, the grass looks good. I
mm,
would say that's being small. And
yeah.
I always wanted to say, yeah, we live there just because the house looked good to me.
Mm,
Grass was nice and green. I'm from Michigan. So we had the taller fescue,
mm,
Kentucky blue fescue.
yeah.
So, dad always kept the, fertilization going and, being green. Plus it was cooler in the summertime. It wasn't too hot. So it didn't die off like that. So it pretty much stayed green. And man, we just kind of went from there I just kind of went from there as far as the instant gratification. But like you said, it is art, man.
Yeah.
I go to the museum quite a bit. I love art.
Mm,
But just looking at our work as well, it's like, man, I consider the landscape the canvas.
yeah.
And man, we can make it anything we want to, in a sense, out of spray paint. Out of spray paint and sometimes we do blueprints. So, we draw it up sometimes. A
Mm,
lot of times we do the design, but you know, that's really for the client and just giving the visual
mm,
to them because we already see it,
mm,
and so we always want to, let them see what we see and just go from there. But it's definitely art at its truest form to me. And, just kind of express yourself through that because once you go back, man, it's like, man, we did that. It's
mm,
still in the play, everything is still like you left it.
mm,
And it's like, that's the best part about it. We go back to jobs 4, 5, 6, 7 years, man. And it still looks the same. Client is still happy, things of that nature. So it's good, man.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Before I get too far, i- who do you say you are to introduce you to the people?
Oh yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Marvin B. Ingram. The owner of Premium Greens Landscape and Design, and we are based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's what's funny is like I didn't plan this, but the podcast guest that I featured this week for episode 170 was actually a friend of mine from college. We went to school together, and through the pandemic, she actually bought a landscaping company. She's like never cut grass before, but hired people to do it and being able to manage it. Her husband's a chemical engineer. She's a civil engineer and doing like land surveying and having a background in transportation and different aspects like that. It's like bringing their minds together to help conserve water for the city of Las Vegas and actually having a sponsorship to do work on the Raiders, like I guess
Mhm.
their new stadium.
Oh,
Got
really?
they got work there and they're actually I guess they'll be able to see their work for their pregame. That's tomorrow. I was like,
That's
man,
awesome right
that
there.
just blew
That's
my mind.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing, man. I probably wouldn't be able to sleep, man. I probably wouldn't be able to sleep, man, thinking about that. Just everyone seeing your work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, man, yeah, that's a good feeling right there. And then knowing that you didn't put, blood, sweat, and tears into it, yeah.
Mhm.
And everyone to see it and enjoy it, yeah, that's awesome. And she never done anything far as landscape?
No, she said she hasn't. I'm sure
Wow.
she's appreciated it and like
Mhm.
learns it, but I guess that kind of speaks to knowing what you're good at, knowing where you can be effective and
Yeah,
like staying in that lane, so to speak.
yeah, yeah. Knowing what you like.
Yeah. And I guess with landscaping, it's like I didn't think about it. Like I was telling you, it was one of the first jobs that I ever had. Is
Hmm.
my mom asked a family friend of ours to if I could work with them when I was, I think maybe around 16 or a little bit before 16. But it was one of those like you got to get out of the house. Like you can't be
Yeah,
in here over the
yeah,
summer playing games. Like we didn't watch TV growing up, or I watched a little bit Saturday mornings, but that was about all the TV you could get. And
yeah.
I didn't get it at the time, but now I understand that like even like I'll be on YouTube and stuff and social media, but like not necessarily owning a TV or longing to own a TV.
Uh-huh.
I get it now. Like I didn't understand it at like 10, 12,
Oh,
14,
sure.
15. It was just like I want what everybody else wants, but like being able to get out of the house, do landscaping with a family friend. I actually spoke to him yesterday. Good to just hear his voice and see how he's doing. Not only does he do well taking care of the people, like you mentioned, taking care of the customers, being able to see your work, like to use the lawnmower for the first time, you push that thing, you empty out the grass clippings, or some areas you just shoot the grass clippings to the side,
Yeah,
and then when it's done, you have that fresh smell of cut grass, and you see the lines where it's cut. And what's funny is like being able to go back home and do that. I think
yeah.
my parents may have been gassing me up, but I appreciate them for it now at 33
Yeah.
to be like, my dad says appreciate, he's like, you did such a good job, son. Like, man, it looks professional. Like it's this. And I'm just thinking in my head, I just pushing a lawnmower. Like,
Yeah,
what am I doing? It's like, but they appreciated that. And I'm
yeah.
like, huh. And that's who I was talking to when you first jumped on. So I was like,
Oh,
just give me a
oh,
minute.
that's cool.
But
No, it's all
yeah,
good.
but it's like if you go back and you listen to some of the stories from 2019 when I started the podcast to evolve it to now, I'm like, a lot's changed. Like a lot's
Oh, I know,
changed
man.
about me and like just
Yeah.
the whole process of you being like, okay, like I was listening to a sermon earlier and they were talking about how your past things from your past you didn't think were useful have a way of informing your future, and to be like, okay, like this is valuable now. But
Hmm.
I guess I said all that to kind of turn it back to you, and like you mentioned, being able to hold your dad's pockets as he's cutting the grass, and you're like, man, we're flying. Then you have these ideas. Like, how did you how did you continue down that track to like be where you're at now and owning your own company?
Honestly, man, it was I always, and I'm gonna tell you, I always thought of myself as different.
Mm,
Anyway, none of my dad, and you sound like your dad, because I couldn't stay inside, man. That man would not let me. It was no thing. I was just telling my son, it's crazy. We just rode around the block. And I said, as many children are in this subdivision, it was no one out.
yeah,
And myself was looking at him like, man, whatever, dad. Yeah,
it's like
I
it's
said, 'cause
hot. It's a
yeah, it's hot,
hundred and
man.
something
I
out.
told her that dude, you gotta go ride your bike today. So they got a brand new bike, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you don't have no miles on it. But to say that, to say, it's like, man, I always find myself being different. So I always like that type of stuff anyway, kind of just working with my hands
Mm,
and, going and working. My dad was kind of a hands-on fixer type person. And just to stay with landscape, man, you once again, you said you had a childhood
family
um
friend.
family friend
Mhm,
that actually you work with. I did the same thing. My mom was a school teacher, and
mm,
in the summer, Mr. Purtle,
mhm,
um, she asked him before they stopped school. He had a pretty big business, man, for a teacher.
mhm,
And him and his son would cut grass until, school let back in.
mhm,
And I did the same thing, man. I loved it. From there, I did a little service. I would shovel snow
mhm.
in the winter, big driveways, and then I would cut grass in the summer, man. And I just visualized in my mind. I went to the library and did my car, my little cars at the time on the typewriter. Did them. I remember running them off and just
Man.
putting them in everybody's mailbox, man. And it just stuck, man. That just what I like to do, and I just continued from there. True enough, I have jobs and had jobs in the past, and um, I guess, man, I just found my relaxation outside.
Mm.
So, and I kind of just worked from there, man. It just kept it going. I mean, I worked for, a few landscape companies, man, and I worked for the city of Flint,
Mm.
parks and recreation. And, we got on, we had the big tractors and the big butterfly toros and, all the different type of machines, man. But that just stuck with
Yeah.
me. It's like, man, I can, you know, I, I know I can do this part.
Mm.
And it just kind of stuck from there, man. And we started out cutting grass and things of that nature. And because that was the love and that was what it was, man. It kind of just moved from there. But man, to see where it is now, honestly, I won't say I always pictured it, but I knew just because that's what I like to do. All my buddies, man, it's too hot out there, man. I ain't doing it. Man, please. This is cake. You know what I mean? Because I grew up with, man, a slave driving dad.
Yeah.
He was the real deal, man. I mean, we cut wood in the wintertime. You know what I mean? My dad was too cheap to run the furnace, man.
Yeah.
So he actually bought property. We bought property probably about 40 minutes away,
Mm.
just for the timber, for the hardwoods on the property, man.
Mm.
And that's how we stay warm. So from there, man, that work went hard to me.
Yeah.
That's just what you had to do. It was no like, no, Dad, I don't feel like doing that. That's just what you had to do to survive, or to live in the house, I should say. live, live in my parents' house. So, but yeah,
Gotcha.
man. But yeah, that's and it just kind of moved from there, man. So I mean, I wouldn't trade anything for it though.
That's awesome. How'd you go from Michigan to Georgia?
So my aunt, my mom's youngest sister, and her husband lived here. And once again, my uncle had a landscape company.
Mm.
My uncle did. And I kind of just put two and two together. I guess so I moved here in 2000, but my uncle passed in 98, the same year that the Falcons went to the Super Bowl when they played the Vikings.
Mhm.
And I just noticed it was like October. Boy, it was warm.
Yeah.
It was warm. I was like, oh my God. Man, I had got on the plane, man. No, we drove. We actually drove and ran into a snowstorm in Indiana.
Mhm.
And I guess after that, to make it to Georgia, we finally did. But it's like, man, I don't want to stay here. You know what I mean? Plus,
Right.
it's cold and everything else. So honestly, man, that and home, Flint, Michigan is good place. I love home, but
Mhm.
a lot of, it was a lot of it wasn't a lot of change there, man. I just knew I had to change something
Mhm.
to, what I mean, to better myself. So it's like, man, my aunt's here. I can, save up some cash and get an apartment, man, and kind of just hang out and see how I like it here. I
Yeah.
never went back.
Yeah, the weather would definitely change your mind on some things where it's like I've been to Michigan around the winter time, and I remember my first time that I was just an hour outside of Chicago. I was going
Uh-huh.
from Donaldsonville, Louisiana, or St. James, Louisiana, up to Plainfield, Illinois, and I think it was 19 degrees in Donaldsonville, and it was -7 in
Oh,
Chicago, and I was on this training program for like 2 years. This was for no, this had to be just over like a year and 2 months in. I was going.
hmm,
It was going basically from February to March. So February was my last day
yeah,
in Louisiana, and then
yeah.
March is going to be my first day up there. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, maybe I just call him back and tell him I can't make it. The car broke down. This isn't
So,
working. Like I've got to pull this 26-foot trailer with my car behind it when I only have like 10 foot of, or like maybe 5 foot of space of that trailer filled in. And I'm driving across the Mississippi River on a 1 lane bridge because they're working on the other side. So I'm sitting there like, oh my God. Like it's like drive up and just keep going, keep going, keep going. I want to say it was maybe like, I don't remember the exact distance, but I just know that it was long. It was maybe supposed to take like 8 hours, and it ended up taking me like 4 more hours. And
yeah.
as I was getting there, like I wanted to pull over and stop, but I was like, I'm so close. I'm so close. And
Hmm.
then finally, when I get into Illinois, it starts snowing. So it's like you got to stop. I was just paying attention to the people that were around me, and I'm like, okay, you got to stop because they got the snow trucks that are coming out and they're going to ice it and plow the road. I was like, never seen those before, never
Yeah,
driven in the snow by myself. Like last
yeah.
time we drove, I think our car spun around or something, or someone more experienced was driving and they knew what to do. But it was like it's a lot easier driving a 26-foot truck after the road's been plowed, and then
Absolutely.
run over a curb is not so bad. It's just like, oh, just a little curb. If as
Yeah.
to where if I was driving my Toyota that I'm driving now, it would have like taken me all
But
around the world. But yeah, I definitely don't blame you for leaving the area and coming down to warmer space.
yeah, yeah, man. And I went to Michigan for a conference last year, man.
Mm,
And man, I was like, man, and it was snowing. It was snowing then. I can't even remember what, like October. It might have been November. I guess it was
yeah,
before Thanksgiving. And it was like, man, it's cold, man. Plus plus that snow is hitting you dead in the face. It's like, man, I see why. I mean, man, you
yeah.
got all these clothes on. I got tights on and everything else.
It
It's
just
like, man,
disrespects you.
it
It doesn't
is.
care about you. It's like 8 months out of the year is just cold.
It is, man. That's the whole thing. 8 months. That's like way too much for me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So,
So it's like you come to Georgia and you're doing the landscaping with your uncle
hmm.
and like figuring things out on your own. Like how do things progress from there?
So things progressed from there. Um I moved. Everything was good, figuring things out and had a couple jobs here and there. Um and then um let me think, that was 2000. Yep, I figured things out, and then from there, man, just kind of just got to working and got married. And then from there, had some children. The kind of life happened
Mhm.
type deal, and uh, I tell you what it was, man. Well, this was before I left. I got laid off from the city job.
Mm,
I got laid off Christmas Eve,
mm.
and that just teed me off.
Yeah.
So from there, I went on and moved this and that, and like I said, life happened. Went from there, but then after that, I got laid off again, man, for the second time from a landscape company,
Mm.
and it was right around the same time,
Hey,
around
year
Christmas time,
back to back
both
years.
times, man. So I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying, was that back to back years?
No, it wasn't back to back years. It was some time. It probably was maybe about 6 years
Gotcha.
after. But that kind of just stayed in me, man. And then from there, I uh I went on, and I just at that point, man, I got hot. I was heated, man.
Mm,
It's like, man, I'm tired of these, because man, you do such a good job. You go in, you stay, long hours. You say yes to just about it, everything to kind of get promoted, blah blah blah, this and that. And it was like, man, they weren't really respecting you as an individual.
Right.
And I got tired of it, man. So I went out and the clients that we serviced, I took them.
Mm.
I took the landscapes companies, clients, because they were going out of business. They told
Mm.
us don't say anything. They're
Mhm.
going to give us, X amount, like a little severance package type deal, whatever, whatever. I wasn't listening to that. I got on my computer that night and cooked up a letter,
Mhm.
uh, introducing myself, letting them know what straight was going on. And those clients that I actually had a relationship with, man, I taken those clients from that company and made them my own and started, um, Premium Greens.
Mm.
And we started from there, man.
Did you start
Yeah,
on your own, or did you have
yeah.
anyone to go with you?
No, no, started on my own. This was
Mm.
just straight off of me.
Gotcha.
Just being, I had to do something, man.
Right.
And I wasn't, and I was like, man, okay, do I go out and, look for another job? Or because how my mind was thinking was like, man, I already built a relationship with these people. They have my personal cell phone number.
Mm.
They would call me when something happened. They wouldn't call my manager.
Right.
They would call me. So I mean, and I just did that just once again, because we used to get a bonus off of, good reviews off of our lawn maintenance clients.
Right.
So we would get extra money every quarter if we had everything. So I wanted to always have a good relationship with my clients. So I given everybody all the clients that I service, my personal telephone number. If you have any problem, don't call Chris, call me.
Mm.
Because I want to go ahead and resolve the problem before it gets to him, so it'll mess up my doggone bonus.
Mm.
So from there, I said, well, if I have this relationship with these people, hey man, I might as well go ahead and at least see could I, would they switch over to me since they're not in
Mhm.
business any longer and not going to have anybody going to cut their grass. Well,
Right.
the higher ups heard about it. They got peed off, blah, blah, blah. But at that time, man, it was a done deal, buddy. I don't care what you say. It was I would pull up on, on some properties, man, and the old manager be there. Hey, what are you doing? What do you mean what I'm doing? I had, and it's crazy, man, because I bought a brand new trailer, enclosed trailer,
Mhm.
um, with a car that I actually we got for a wedding gift. My parents given to us,
Mhm.
and it was a car that my wife at the time was not driving. She had another car, and I had another car, truck.
Mhm.
And it's like, hey man, I gotta make some shake. So traded that in, bought a new enclosed trailers and a few more blowers. I had a lawnmower because I got a pretty big property myself at home, so I needed something commercial to cut my grass.
Gotcha.
So I kept that lawnmower to, just service those clients, man, until I could just build up. I bought a few more things, man, and we were on and going from there.
Man. And around what year is this?
So that was 2010, man.
Oh, wow. So you've
Yeah.
been at it 13 years.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That was 2010, man. I had to make some shake, so it's like, it's no need for everybody to drown.
Right.
You know,
Right.
y'all let y'all that y'all in the boat by yourself. I'm getting out of that boat.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's a sunken ship.
Mm.
So
And I guess from there, like, how did it evolve? Like word of mouth, or like, did you
yeah.
immediately try to hire more people as you kept growing?
So from there, man, I had one guy. 2010, I had one guy. My main guy. And man, we just took it over. And then it just kind of just evolved in far as word of mouth. And then we used to do a lot of subdivisions and a lot of homeowners front entrances
Mhm.
to properties, and then we was actually service the homes that are in the subdivision as well. So they will always see us, excuse me, and then see the trailer. And man, we just kind of just word of mouth and kind of just people seeing us out each and every day, and went from there. Hired a couple more
Mm.
guys, man, and then we just, we just went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yep. And then we just continue to keep on going, and we had, we were pretty slam far as we would do probably about 12 to 15 houses a day, depending on how big they were.
Mhm.
And then from there, man, we got one project that held up some time, and a client asked me. He said, "Hey, man, I need a retaining wall." I said, "Okay." And then he said, "Can you do that?" I said, "Sure." I was lying. I didn't know how to do no retaining wall, man. But I was gonna shoot it down, and I
Yeah.
could see, clearly see that we needed one.
Mhm.
And a friend of a friend, a buddy of a buddy, had a buddy. My buddies or friends' friend knew how to do it.
Mm.
So he helped me out and showed me some things. And um, it's like, man, this pays and does way more than just cutting grass.
Right.
So from well, from us cutting grass, from $50 to you go into the thousands quick.
Yeah.
Far as so it's like, man, this money is totally different than this right here. And that retaining wall changed everything. That was probably 20, that was 20 20 going 2015, early 2016, because it was like December. It was cold, but we had coat. I remember,
Mhm.
and had really no clue what we had going. I had enough equipment and guys and things of that nature, and that just changed the game, man. From there, man, we just started promoting, hardscapes, retaining walls, and patios, and he could do it all.
Mm.
So we weren't turning anything down.
Gotcha.
So, and then we went from there, man, into where we're at today.
Wow.
So it's good. It was it's definitely, and still learning a lot, man. Feel like I know a lot. Well, I won't say feel like I know a lot, but seem like because I guess I say feel like we know a lot. I know a lot just because I've been in it for some time, but
Mhm.
man, haven't even scratched the surface. It's crazy, man. Because my mentor, man, man, I mean, they just do all kind of just crazy stuff
Mm.
that you can only see in better homes of in the pretty books, in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Like the
So they,
what is it? IGHTV?
right, and all that. I mean, just when and I call them the true artists,
Mm.
guys like that, because man, they just do anything out of everything, all kind of different materials and stones and whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah. But yeah, man, it's but that one job changed everything for us.
Well, that is awesome, and I think it kind of points to around the time that we met, or just the evolution you continue to make and wanting to better yourself and expanding and going
Right.
out, networking and trying to meet
Yeah.
other people, see how people do
Exactly.
things, and then
Yeah.
evolving and putting the work that you actually do online. And every time that I'm scrolling through Instagram, anytime I see your profile, I'm like, I like that. Whatever they're doing, I like it. It's like good music selection. It's just
Oh
guys at
man,
work
thank you.
building beautiful art. And it's like when you see it, you see someone cutting the grass or you see someone transforming an environment. It's like, man,
It's a
that looks
beautiful
good.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's a better word for it. It's artistry, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I
So
guess
yeah.
what would you say kind of led you to that, trying to meet other people that may not necessarily be landscapers, but you felt like they could teach you something?
Because I was at that point, man. I, I wanted. I always like to continue to keep learning. I'm always a student. So it's like, man, I was and I'm just looking for um to better myself, because I believe that's the only thing we can do in life is really to better our own selves. We can't change anyone. We can't make anyone do
Mm,
anything that they don't want to do, but we definitely can do ourselves.
mm,
So I just want to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be. So that's what led me to, like you said, in the circle that we're in now.
mm,
Just meeting like-minded people, just because, man, who doesn't, I believe,
mm,
want to make themselves better in some kind of way. So it's like, man, it's just a constant growth. I don't believe just because you get older, you just gonna stay the same, man. It's just kind of just sit there and get old and start walking slower, and
mhm.
and just you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
mean, true enough, I know some things are going to happen just because we get older, man. But I believe we're supposed to get better.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's what led me to that, just wanting to get better, man. Just really, and just meeting good people, because I know it's all type of people that you really can learn from, man. From just the average a child.
mm.
You definitely can learn from, to that old guy that they call him whatever, Bubba, Bubba on, just on the street, man. I mean, you listen to him and he'll have some knowledge for you. I promise you he will.
Mm,
So that's what led me to that, man. It's been, a consistent, just want to be a student and just being consistent with it, man. Just wanting to get better. So yeah.
that's awesome. I,
Yep.
I guess like what's something that you kind of learned from your new social group or even from your kids?
Stay consistent, man.
Mm,
Stay consistent. You want, you go through life, and life hands you things that you really don't want to deal with and don't want to do a lot of times, man. But one thing about it, man, the sun rises or it's light outside and it gets dark. That's been consistent since I've been born.
mm.
So I believe if we can stay consistent and stay with a positive attitude, everything else, man, is gonna play its course.
I
It's
like
like,
it.
man, we always, a lot of time, well, I'm speaking far as myself. Sometimes I want to get, it's like, man, it's like, this and that, it might get tough, but man, stay consistent. I swear.
Right.
Um, that will, that will help. I run, man, each morning, and I swear running has really changed my life, just in the sense of just staying consistent, man.
Mm.
I know my neighbors and people that see me, um, on the road each and every day. It's like, boy, that guy crazy. I know some people got to say, you know what I mean? It's like, that man is crazy, because I run every day, 7 days a week, each morning, and that really showed me consistency. When I don't want to, my head be hurting sometimes, man. I be by. Just told my son a couple weeks ago, I had a real bad headache, and every time I hit the ground, bam, my head would hurt.
Mm.
But man, I swear, by the time I got done, I promise to God, it was gone.
Yeah.
It was gone. So, it's like, man, every day is not going to stay the same, but every day is good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So, I mean, that's what it taught me, to stay consistent.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about doing the things you may not want to when, or even doing the things that you want to do when it doesn't feel convenient to do them.
Right.
Because it's like if you build that habit little by little, it's almost like you've already told yourself what you're going to be doing, regardless what the conditions are. If the weather's good, bad, or if it's hot, cold, snowing, raining, whatever's going on, it's like you got to go do the thing.
You got to. You got to. And I believe that's what has really led me to this point in so many different ways. But I just put it on something, just put it on something because I know it's gonna be some stuff I might not want to call Miss Anthony,
Mm.
because I got to go over there and maybe do something. I actually just got done with Miss Anthony last yesterday. We had some plans to die,
Mm.
and just really didn't have an opportunity to go over there because we've been so busy working. But she's a great client,
Mm.
and you gotta go over there and talk. You gotta go over there and get it done, man. You might whatever you
Yeah.
have to do. Because if not, man, I believe you neglect those things, and then what happens is now we're crying and can't take care of our responsibilities, and we can't take on anymore because
Mm.
the ones that we have, we ain't even doing.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So it just that's to me that's how it works,
Yeah.
and just going from there, man. So yeah, definitely.
That's encouraging. And what's funny is like when we were talking earlier, you were talking about driving with your son around the neighborhood and be like, man, you got to go ride your bike. It's funny
Yeah,
that like I think it seems like forever ago now, but it's just like a month ago. It seemed like yesterday that I went to ride my bike, and next thing I know, I'm in a soft cast and like trying to regain the strength back in my arm. But it's like the idea sparks back in my head, like, hey, you got your arm back. You can ride your bike, take it easy, pay attention to the terrain,
right,
don't go off of a path that you've never been on before. Like you don't know when you're gonna have surprise tree roots out there and
right,
just
right, right.
surprise. Next thing you know, you're trying to catch the
That's
ground
right.
and it's like, oh, hold
That
on.
ground come fast, buddy.
Right, right. But with that, with what you're doing this year, what you've been able to experience this year, like what's something you appreciated about 2023?
One thing I would appreciate about 2023 is change.
Mm.
Change. 2023 has brought a lot of change for me and just, in my personal life. And not being, I won't say, just not not being not being sensitive. I would, that's what's coming off. Not don't be, don't have to be sensitive. I mean, things happen.
Yeah,
And however it is, man, you have to continue to keep moving forward. So just change, man.
yeah.
Just change.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I can receive what you're saying now about change because I I was feeling sensitive a little bit before when I was talking with another friend that I met through kind of the similar social groups, but she was speaking about change as it deals with like government and
Mhm.
policies and why they're important and things like that. And I was like, why can't you just keep things as they are? Like just leave it alone. Like it doesn't need
Right,
to
right, right.
change. Like I liked it how I liked it, but it's like, no man, we gotta sometimes you gotta switch it up.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And like one of the guys, I don't know if you know Jose, but Jose Bennett, but he always says, be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, and to me, that's change.
Yeah.
Things are always changing. So it's like, man, you you kind of just can't be so. And we are, you know what I mean? We're we want to hold on to something. I want to
Mhm.
hold on to my little boy. I don't want him to get too big. I
Mhm.
already got a big boy. He gone. You know what I mean? He's gone. He's 19. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's doing his own thing. He's a grown man. So, but at the same time, it's like, that's just how the way of the world. So, just like I said, just can't be so sensitive and attached, I would say, to everything
Yeah.
where you can't welcome this change because it's gonna come one way or the other.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's true. I definitely echo that. 2023's taught me to appreciate the change and to definitely be more present, because it's that sometimes
Yeah.
wanting to do a whole bunch of things and it's like, nope, we're
Yeah.
not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
you sit your butt down and kind of be where you're at, or
Yeah.
get your butt up and like time to move in this direction, because it's like if you sit here, something might meet you or be there for you that you might not necessarily need
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true, man. So it's like, man, it's and you said a mouthful then, and be present.
Yeah.
And be, you know what I mean? Be present in the time. That's heavy because we're sitting there that don't want to change and then not really being really thoughtful about, being present and having fun in what we got going.
Yeah.
Or just, just observing. So yeah, that's for real, man.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's funny. I think I've gone through roller coasters of emotion this year. It's like I think I keep smiling harder and harder, and I've cried like pretty hard also. But like
yeah,
being able to see the beauty in both and
yeah,
actually like be in those moments, and once those moments are gone, just being able to let them go and be
yeah,
like, okay, you can't hold on to this forever. It's got to on to the next thing.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny you say that, man, because I had that. I swear, man, I had that revelation this morning. It was like, man, it almost, God, man, you just said it. Um, but God said this morning, hey, it's time for you to let that go.
Yeah.
You gotta, we starting over today. I swear.
Mm.
And that was it. And I thought about that, just the whole run. I was like, man, I said that's a blessing.
Yeah.
So, I have to trust what, and then and this confirmation you just said.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what I mean? That's how I look at things, man. If I hear them twice, it's like, man, that was for me.
Mm.
So, and that's what it is. Just let it go. And, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've been having different bits of insight, and I've been I've been trying to watch what I consume, whether it's lectures, podcasts, books, different things like that, and trying to take even like a book. I would be like, okay, let me read a chapter, or let me listen to this one thing, and then just have space of doing nothing and letting my brain do what it does without having to be like, what do I think about this, or like what where does this play. But one thing, I was listening to this panel discussion and they were going through the book of Exodus, and they were talking about, I think is miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one person said that miracles don't do anything to convince people of something, because it's like people always say like, oh, if only this will happen, then I will do that. And it's like,
Yes. Yeah.
no, you won't. And it's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
every time that people think about miracles, it's always in good, in the good context or positive, but people never think that like a negative miracle may actually still have a similar effect,
Same
where it's like
effect. I
it
never
feels
thought
like it
about that.
sucks today, but it's
Yeah.
like when you actually
But it
have a
was in
different
your best
perspective.
interest.
Yeah.
That's for real, bro. That is for real. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. Because it's like it's so easy to hang on to something and to be like, man, like I really need this. Like this is everything that I wanted. This is everything I prayed for. This is everything. And then all of a
Right.
sudden it's like
Boom.
it's just not working out. It's just
Yeah.
not working out. And you
Yeah.
just
It's
keep
not working out.
trying,
Yeah.
you keep clawing, you want
Yeah.
to like beg,
Yeah.
scream, kick, whatever, fuss, and it's like, no, let it
Wow.
go. And it's
Wow.
like, dang, okay. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I gotta, yeah, let me let it go. And then before you know it, you get a lot more than you thought was
Yeah.
even in your rear view.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like life is life is something. I guess
Yeah.
it may be cliche to say that it's amazing, but there's a lot going on in this life thing, and learning to appreciate things in the like the here and now is pretty wild to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same here, man. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, about the miracle because I never thought about that ever.
Yeah.
And as much as a miracle it is to have something good that happened, it might be just like you said, good for it, for the change as well.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. Yeah.
Man, that's
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
I'm trying not to process too many things or to think too far ahead. I'm like, stay right here, stay
Right, right.
present. And it's like I feel like my mind's just about to be blown with whatever happens in the next. But what's something you're still looking forward to in this year, 2023 and 2024, if you're looking that far ahead?
Yeah. Um, well, and as one thing is learning more about my craft. It's learning more about my craft. I never went to school, and you don't need to go to school. Um, but as I meet, different people, um, my mind goes and see, it goes to the more business side. When I got into it, it was just like the artistry side of it,
Mm,
but now it's the business side of it that I really want to learn, grasp, and teach others because anyone, well, I won't say anyone, but you can kind of just go out and figure things out far as building in a sense and
mhm,
doing that, but you can go to YouTube University, things of that nature, and kind of just pick it up. But when it comes to learning different tax strategies, learning different software,
mm,
hiring the right people to do your accounting work, finding the right lawyer for your business, things of that nature, man, and
right,
putting those things into place because people don't talk about that as
right,
much as
right.
they do, you know, showing you how to make a 45-degree cut, what blade to use for this type of material, things of
Mhm,
that nature. People don't talk. I mean, people talk about that all day,
yeah.
but when it comes to how to find that perfect, well, I won't say perfect, but how to find more leads,
Mm,
things of that nature, where to look, what to talk to, things like that. So I would say that will be one mine in 23 and 2023 and 24 is just to learn more about the business aspect and the back end of you know my profession
mm.
in the in the green space.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I guess I think that the reason I say it's awesome, not to be cliche, but I think it's cool because like you're still giving yourself a chance to learn because you're like, okay, I know what I know about the artistry or the technical production side of like, okay, here's what you see, but then there's what you don't see on the background on the back end, where it's that the nuts and bolts. It's like people need to get paid, and in getting people paid, you got to make sure that money's being spent correctly. You don't want wasted effort. You don't, it's like, why did we spend hours out in the sun putting this thing together? Or why does this thing like you'll drive by it every time, but like you don't want to drive by it like your project with this resentment of like, man, I lost X
Right.
amount of dollars out there. It's like,
Right.
like you don't want to just be stuck with a certain pain in your chest to where it's like it's burning. It's like, do I have heartburn or what's going on? And it's
That's
like,
stress.
nope. It's like those are missed tax payment, or that was like
Yeah.
an audit that came in, or this was a lawsuit. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no more of that. Like we're
Yeah.
taking care of business.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, man, that's where I want to go. So I really don't have to, I won't say think about it, but just knowing, just being prepared.
Mhm.
The best, way that I can possibly prepare. And then also my guys have families, things of that nature. And you know what I mean? Just want to put them in the, they're, great guys. I want to put
Hmm.
them in the right. I don't want anybody that's under me to say that I or the company steered them in the wrong direction. Man, I
Right.
did that too many times. I done listened to too many people
Mm.
and got taken advantage of. I'm not that. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, man, whatever I know, I want to teach correctly, show you how to do it correctly, and just move on. I just want to be a reliable source.
Mm.
So, and then just not for myself, but just for my boys had to carry our last name. I don't
Mm.
want nobody, his dad, that Joe, he ripped us up,
Mm.
this and that. No. I want to be a proud, a stand up man. I won't say proud, just a stand up man. Wherever I say, that's what I want. That's what
Yeah.
I want to do.
I think that's very noble, and it's good to see and to be able to highlight not just a man, but a father that is setting an example and not not having to simply swipe at the fog or work aimlessly, but like seeing that from being young and actually liking what you saw when you were young and finding your way through whether it was moving or going from business to business and being like, okay, I can start this thing and I can continue the evolution of what I already learned, what I've already liked. And at some point, maybe the kids they won't like this. They want to play their games, they want to be inside for a little bit, but like I'm doing enough to where my name where I go is good. And at least
Right.
that tells them, hey, when you get here, you don't just you don't have bad news to run into. It's like, oh, like, did you hear what your old man did? It's like, yeah, he took care of the neighborhood. Like
Yeah.
he kept this here. Like here's a monument that's after him because of like the work that he did, the relationships that he kept.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
And um how can people find out more about what you do and whether they want to partner or watch a lot of your videos on IG like I do? Maybe they'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, so sure. So you can our Instagram handle is Ultra Cut. ULTRACUT. Ultra Cut. You can find us on IG. On Facebook it's simply Premium Greens, PREMIUMGREENZ as in zebra. You can find us there. Our website is PG hardscapes with an S.com.
Awesome.
So we're not on YouTube. That's one of my deals right there. I gotta get on. I watch YouTube too much, man. I mean, we have it. We have. Well, I take that back. We have a YouTube channel, but it's Premium Greens, but I
Mhm.
don't upload to it a lot. Not like I do Facebook and Instagram.
Gotcha. I mean, I think all you got to do, just the same way that you have your posts on IG, you can put them up on
Just put
shorts.
them.
Yeah, just copy and paste exactly the same way
And just
that
put
you,
them up on the shorts. Okay.
yeah, if you do it from
Okay.
your phone, because like I think that's what more people are actually watching on YouTube. It'll
Oh,
be the
they
shorts.
are.
And then if you wanted to do like the shorts, you can record it vertical like this. And then if you want to record anything like a minute video or like a short explanation, you could turn it horizontal and then it'll fit like this. That's why I had you shift your phone when we
Oh,
started
okay.
because it's like this, like the vertical is good for like the stories and things like that. But then
Okay.
when you rotate it horizontal, it fits a bigger screen.
Okay.
That way
Okay.
you don't
Okay.
have so much like blank space on the sides unless
Oh, I
people want to
got
like
you. Because I would
edit that
watch,
in.
I watch shorts like that, or I watch videos, something like that. They have a lot
Mhm.
of blank space
Yeah,
in between.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it's just
because
because it didn't turn the
because of
camera.
the rotation.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
but
Makes sense.
is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Honestly, man, this is my first podcast. I really appreciate you. I just want to say thank you to you. That's what I want to say.
You're
Thank
very
you
welcome.
to just allowing me I speak for my guys, for our company, just allowing me to have this, allowing us to have this platform, and so we can um, kind of just just share our story, man. And just to you, you said 171. Hey, man, kudos to you.
Mm.
Far as being consistent. You definitely been consistent. 171. That's awesome, man. And you've
Thank you.
had everyone. You had everyone. You know what I mean? And you make me feel, you know, right in line. You know what I mean? And I definitely, that's the genuine person in you, that you're just your light shining. You know what I mean? And I won't say I'm not. I won't say I'm shy or anything like that. But I feel sometimes I get nervous. But bro, I have been. It was more of honestly, man. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's been so definitely thank you for, just your interview, your hosting skills, and you let me, come in and feel right at home. I definitely appreciate you. I salute you.
you're very welcome, and thank you for your compliments. That's very well received.
Oh, my man. I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
honestly,
you
man.
you're a great guest, so you make it easy. And I think that's what people may not get, where that's the whole reason of highlighting everyday people, is because like people kind of forget that they already do great things, and like when it's shown or when people hear it, they're like, oh no, that's not me. I don't do that, or like
Yeah,
don't shine the light on me. And it's like it's not shining the light on you to be like, hey, you're on the red carpet, this and that, but it's like people need to see other people to remind themselves of who they are. And it's like
absolutely.
when you remind yourself of who you are, you're like, oh yeah, I did have this goal, I did have this dream. And it's that parents taking care of their kids, like people that have businesses, people that work jobs, people that make us like a nation, a people, a thing where we're not at each other's throat and we actually like each other. It's like that's what I'm aiming at. And it's rewarding to see you smile, see someone get it. And it's like that makes me smile. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the face that I thought I lost. And it's like that's why my parents named me Happy. And it's like I get it. Like through the pain, through the struggle, through all that, it's like you still have to find the silver lining. And like, yeah, that I think
Yeah,
that's all that can be said about that.
yeah, that's good, man. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, that's a great thought of, just like you said, highlighting the community and just people as who they are, just being who they are.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it. Is you know what I mean? You are great in what you do, and we're all great in what we do, but
Hmm.
we don't think of it like that. Like you said, don't have to, because don't put the red, spotlight on me because I'm not worthy type deal. But
Right.
we're
Right.
all worthy. Yeah, that's
Right.
good, bro.
It's
I
like
like that.
everybody doesn't have to be LeBron and everybody doesn't just
That's
have to pay
right.
attention to, hey, here's a scandal, here's a thing. It's like, no, here's life. Like
Yeah,
we're
that's
doing
right.
life.
That's for real. That is for real.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And this was a pleasure seeing you virtually, but face to face and
Yes, sir.
being able to have this dialogue.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely appreciate it. When is it going to air? Yeah, if you don't mind me asking.
This one may be, I'm guessing, so forgive me if I'm a
Oh,
little bit
sure.
off.
No
It may
worries.
be February or March 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So,
just if you don't mind, just I'm gonna put my set my calendar.
mhm.
But just well, just shoot out to me.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
Yeah,
definitely let you
I
know in
like that,
advance, and
man.
I'll send it out to you actually now once I get it downloaded and uploaded. That way you can look at it and see what you like.
Okay. Awesome. I definitely will. I'm gonna listen to it a few times. I know me. But that's awesome, man. You're thinking ahead like that. So you said February, March,
Yeah.
February or March. That's
Mhm.
awesome, man.
Heck,
Yeah,
it could be Valentine's. Who knows?
yes. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's awesome. But definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.